So you've ordered your pads, you've got your rotors, you're getting ready to start the brake job. You take your impact and your impact socket and you put it over the first lug nut, and something does not feel right. The socket does not fully bottom out and does not really engage too well on the lug nut. What's going on here? Well, it's actually swelled lug nuts. Water, salt, corrosion gets in between these two and causes the cap to swell. So when you go to put on a socket, it doesn't feel right and won't fit over the lug nut because it's swelled. The dimensions are off. More inexperienced technicians, well, they'll go 1 millimeter up with the socket and hopefully it'll be able to grab it. But this can create more problems than it actually solves. Chances are that 20 millimeter socket on a 19 millimeter lug nut, well, it's going to spin, but it's not really going to grab it too well, and you may wind up rounding out the flats on the lug nut. If you keep on hammering with your impact, you're going to cause even more problems. You could get to the point where the cap just spins over the hardened steel lug nut, incurring even more damage on the flats on the lug nut. The other solution that more inexperienced technicians use is they pound the socket over the lug nut to remove it. Well, it works and you can remove the lug nut, but chances are you've lost your socket, and now that brake job is getting very expensive. More experienced technicians, well, the second they put their socket over one of those lug nuts, they know that they're in for a problem. But chances are they've prepared for this problem ahead of time by getting the right sockets. For instance, this is a 21.5 millimeter socket that can remove swelled lug nuts. They make these in sets for 19, 17, and up to 24 millimeters. These can save a lot of issues when you're trying to remove one of these lug nuts. The more experienced technician, well, first of all, he's going to order new lug nuts for the vehicle and advise the customer on the repair order. Also, the next thing he's going to do, he's going to look at the lug wrench in the trunk to make sure that that lug wrench fits those brand new lug nuts. If it doesn't, well, you may have to use an aftermarket lug wrench and stow it in the trunk. This lug nut design has been around for almost 20 years, and it's caused a lot of problems for technicians and a lot of delays doing brake jobs on vehicles. The important thing to remember is the second that you pull out your impact and put the socket over the first lug nut and it doesn't feel right, well, take your time. Pull out a socket, put it over the lug nut. Use a breaker bar so you can feel how that torque is engaged and if the socket is working properly on that lug nut. I'm Andrew Markel. Thank you very much.